usually sit behind the camera via Zoom, so it's nice to see faces instead of your backs today. It's also wonderful to finally meet you in person, Reverend Maggie. Back in January, as we were searching for a new pastor, Don reached out to me to see if I can give a message on a Sunday that we didn't have a pastor lined up. When I told my family this, they all got very quiet. And my wife, in her panic voice, said, "Are you serious?" My family is very thankful to the PNC for finding Pastor Maggie before today. I'm just here to share a bit of information. Growing up, one of my favorite things was listening to my grandfather talk about his experiences, especially during the war and his work after the war. Some of you might remember him. His name was Pastor Rivera, a longtime member of this church until he passed away in 2001. After the war, a group of missionaries from the U.S. went to the Philippines to unite the different Protestant denominations. Being the Philippines was predominantly Catholic, about 8%. My grandfather worked for this group and eventually received sponsorship to attend the seminary, where he became known as Pastor Rivera. He was one of the first pastors for this newly formed church, the United Church of Christ in the Philippines. He was assigned in the remote areas of the Philippines as his first assignment. In those early days of this newly formed church, my grandfather's salary was whatever comes through the offering. Sometimes money, sometimes rice, vegetables, livestock. He told me a story when they only had enough food for one meal left in their pantry. When my grandmother was worried, my grandfather told her in his typical pastor's response, "Don't worry, God will provide." Soon after, there was a knock at the door. A church member came asking for help, for they haven't had any food to eat the whole day. Without hesitation, my grandfather gave him their last meal. My grandmother, understandably, was upset, but my grandfather reassured her again in his typical pastor's response, "Don't worry, God will provide." Just before dark, another knock came. A church member who had been walking since early that morning brought in a sack of food and told my grandfather that he had such an abundant harvest and wanted to share his blessings. Back in the 1980s, the judicial system in the Philippines was horrible. If a person is suspected of a crime, they are put in prison until they are proven innocent. If any person gets caught stealing, no matter how small it is, it was an automatic 3 years of sentence. If a person steals from their employer, even for food, it was automatic 6-year sentence. My family's ministry was to help get some of these cases scheduled in court so they can be processed. And we sponsored those with small offenses for paroles. There was once a case of misidentification where a person happened to have the same name as the one who committed the crime, and he spent over 2 years in jail just waiting for his court date. One day, during our weekly visit in the city jail, I noticed one of the inmates who was scheduled for a parole hearing. But he looked very sad, so I asked him, "What is going on?" He told me that all he owns is the clothes he's wearing, a worn-out shirt and a boxer shorts. He was worried that his appearance might affect his chances of getting parole. I felt so bad, but I only had 2 pairs of pants, which I needed since we don't have a washing machine at that time in the Philippines. But after talking to my mom, she encouraged me in her typical pastor's daughter's way. I should share what I have, because God will always provide for what I need. So I gave this inmate one of my shirts and my other pair of jeans. Now, not a week later, we received a package from my uncle here in Enumclaw, Washington. This package was mailed 6 weeks earlier. And in this package, there were 2 pairs of jeans, shoes, and some shirts. I admit I was a little disappointed. I was hoping for some chocolates too. Faith in Action Ministry is somewhat of a continuation of these stories. This ministry is about listening to God, understanding the needs, and sharing our blessings with those who need it the most. We hope to be like the man who brought my grandparents food or the package that provided me for what I need. Over the last 14 years, we've engaged in disaster relief, food distribution, medical mission, and much more. Each year, we reevaluate community needs and adjust or expand as necessary. Some of our current programs include medical assistance for the elderly and the disabled, provide emergency food and medical aid, and engage in various educational assistance for the children in the area, including a scholarship program that's been running since 2012. Our scholarship program has over 40 students from elementary to college. We believe education is essential to breaking the poverty cycle. While public schools in the Philippines are technically free, there are costs like supplies, uniform, projects, materials, and transportation. The Faith in Action Ministry provides our scholars with small monthly allowance between $8 to $12 for these expenses. College students receive a little bit more since that college is not free. We did a study last year and showed that printing, scanning, and copying take a large portion of their allowances. Thanks for your support, we were able to set up these services during our last visit in October. With our new high-volume scanner, copier, and printer, we can now support the scholars and the local kids who would have paid a lot more money for these services. As you can imagine, this ministry is somewhat unique, but it has flourished because of your support and guidance. We aim to continue listening to God and finding ways to serve better. I'd like to close by showing a short video from our recent visit. Even though the quality is not that great, but we hope that it offers a glimpse into our scholars' lives. About 80% of the kids in the program lives in the same area where the video was filmed.
Someday, I want to become a teacher to help my family. Thank you, friends from Enoch Club.
Hi, I'm Ruth. I'm senior in high school. I have been a scholar since 2016.
And this is my home.
This is my brother and my mother.
My mom is a test vendor, and someday I want to become a software programming and to help my family and to give something to the community.
Thank you, Calvin.
Thank you for giving us hope.